Hey guys, Poro here with another Worlds 2025 recap, this time for Day 4 of Swiss Stage. It should be a super fast day today with 4 best of 1s, and multiple games with potential upsets. I'm definitely looking forward to it. We're going to try all the half stars again. I think I liked using them yesterday. Nothing else for the intro, let's get into the first match. Well, Team Secret Whales vs FlyQuest was an incredibly depressing watch. I kind of had the suspicion that a team like Fly would roll over a mistake-prone team like Secret Whales, but I was hoping there would at least be some life. There was no life, Secret Whales was never ahead at any point and never really had a shot to win. They tried some stuff like a bot dive and some dragon stacking, but Dire played lane against squad pretty badly and the Azir started out accelerated. If FlyQuest has an accelerated scaling champion, they go into lockdown mode and give you almost no chances to come back into the game. There were a few scattered teamfights, but this was a stomp. Everyone on Secret Whales gets lower scores except for Eddie. Taki and his toe had some teamfights where they whiffed skills that they can't be missing, which I think could have gotten them a few more kills, and Dire was having an awful game all around. For Fly, I gave Quad a 5 because he made a couple of potentially game-losing mistakes, but he was also a huge force for Fly in their winning positions. Everyone else on Fly navigated the game well, especially Busio and Alistar, who was able to get a lot of advantages across the map through early game, and found many great combos in mid-game teamfights. Not the cleanest game from Fly, but it was relatively clean and they destroyed Secret Whales today. Genji vs T1 was maybe the most confusing game I've seen all tournament. This is going to be a really short segment, let's break it down. So first, T1 decide to pick Wukong Aurora 1-2 even though Faker can't play Aurora, and then they give Genji the most insane first 3 ever. Then they go blind Kai'Sa even though Guma can't play Kai'Sa and Poppy is up, and obviously Genji pick it. Then we get into game and everyone on T1 gets blasted in lane phase because they're on champions they aren't good at, and they win no teamfights because their comp is thematically bad into enemy comp. T1 never wins this game with these champions ever. Genji and T1 could play this match 50 times and T1 would win it maybe twice. Everyone on Genji played basically flawlessly, no notes there. Chovy was a monster both in lane phase and in teamfights. He went up like 1.5k gold in the isolated 1v1 against Faker. Really, there is no analysis here. T1 just drafted the worst game 1 comp T1 could ever go, and that was that. BLG vs G2 was a very low quality game. G2 played bad, but BLG played worse. That's all this was. G2 had an interesting draft actually, with a lot of disengage and objective setup, but it looked like it was going to go horribly wrong as they cleanly got the first Drake and got out, only to turn back around and fight and immediately gift wrap 3 kills to Knight's Rise. After that though, BLG completely collapsed. Bin into the teleport play and died, and he also got solo killed a couple minutes later. Shadow trolled a huge objective setup at Seoul by dashing into the enemy team and getting one shot. Knight got picked out a few times and was useless with his lead. Elk died on a bad timer before Baron by overpushing top. Overall, everyone was playing very badly. Skewmond was the one who initiated the turn that almost lost them the game, Caps got his flash and passive blown on bad timers 3 times, and Hans got 2v2 killed by Bin. I thought Lebrav was playing fine, nothing too crazy. With 9 people playing badly, the winning team would be whoever had one person step up, and this game that person was Broken Blade. He got the solo kill as mentioned earlier, and he had some good ults. He also found a nice TP flank that led to Knight and Elk dying, which got G2 Baron, so overall I would say he was the biggest influence for why G2 were able to win. He was the one with the advantages, and he played it well. BLG is now in the 1-2 group, and they look really bad. If they play like this moving forwards, they will not make it to quarterfinals. They better hope and pray they don't draw T1 down there, or their tournament will end in supreme disappointment. I also am not confident in G2 at all. They were not clean this game, and do not look poised to make quarterfinals either. They do have 2 chances though, so maybe they'll figure it out. The last game of the day was HLE vs 100 Thieves, and as expected, HLE kind of steamrolled them. 100 Thieves comp had pretty low early game damage, and against the front line of Genji, they were never able to get things going in any of the teamfights. We experienced the fastest game of the tournament so far, as it ended before Baron even spawned, which is pretty unprecedented in this year's meta. Everyone on 100 Thieves made some mistakes and were outclassed for sure, but I didn't go any lower than 4 because I think the biggest issue for them was how unplayable their comp was. There was almost nothing to do to win, and a lot of their bad teamfights was just desperation knowing the game was basically already over. I did give FBI a 6 though. I really like how aggressive he was being on the Senna in lane and on mid-wave, and his soul stacking numbers were very much above average per minute. Everyone at HLE played fairly well I would say. Staka had a couple of mediocre fights, but I bumped him up to a 6 because I really like how he played the top lane fight where it looked like Viper was going to get caught out. The Light also has a lower score for getting 2v2 killed, but everything else is positive, especially Zeus, who was pretty much having his way with the game in whatever fashion he wanted. As mentioned, it was a super short day today with just 4 games, so we're already on to predictions for tomorrow. We've got the 0-2 matches to go over in this video, so let's get into it. First is MKoi vs Fnatic. We saw this matchup twice in LEC playoffs, and it went MKOI's way both times. Also, even though MKOI have thrown all their leads at this tournament so far, at least they've been able to get leads and make games competitive, which is something we haven't seen from Fnatic yet. I'm going 2-0 MKOI for this one. After that is VKS and PSG, and I actually coin flipped a bunch on this one. At first, I had VKS winning because I thought VKS was the better team heading into the tournament, but I'm changing it up and going PSG instead. This is purely based on how the two teams have looked in the BO1s at Worlds so far, so I might be reading into it too much, but it feels like PSG, specifically Karsa, are showing better form than I expected, whereas VKS have yet to find any success. I'm taking PSG 2-1, but I could see it going either way. That's all I have for you for this one. I recently started a Patreon for people who want to support me more while I'm making these videos. I have 3 tiers, each with varying amounts of benefits, including different types of behind-the-scenes content, and even a custom Poro drawing that I'll display in video outros. If that interests you, check out the Patreon link in the description. I'll see you all for the next one. Bye!